how they feel about the Trump administration's immigration enforcement policy. And I think this noise and the hundreds of people who are here speak for themselves just in that visual and in that sound. But we will be going into this crowd to hear from them tonight. Before we do, I have to say that to do this on-the-ground reporting, where John and I are away from our families for days, weeks, months at a time, it costs a lot of money to status quo. And it's not something, this kind of reporting is not something that the social media algorithms just reward on their own. So if you can, a huge help would be to like this stream, share it, to spread it to as many people as possible, to get the word out about what is happening here on the ground in the Twin Cities. Because otherwise, Trump administration, the right-wing media machine, is attempting to drown out these voices with a river, a sea, a flood of misinformation. We saw it play out today with the release of more video from the murder of Renee, where the vice president nearly instantly, as soon as that video was released, was commenting on it, boosting it, trying to make it seem as though the Trump administration was murdered at the hands of immigration enforcement agents. You are able, the next best thing you can do to support lifting up truth, and this time supporting the shoe leather on-the-ground journalism that we are doing, is going to statusquo.com/join for as low as $5 a month or 16 cents a day. You go to keep us here on the ground, where we need to afford hotels, travel, food for while we are here, as we report from dawn to dusk on what it is like to be in these communities day after day, week after week. We don't parachute in, tell a story, and then leave. We stay in these communities embedded for weeks, months at a time. So statusquo.com/join is the best way that you can go about supporting us and helping keep us here on the ground. Some developments from today that I want to cover very quickly. First is that announcement of that independent investigation from the state of Minnesota and the local district attorney's office attempting to hold the Trump administration accountable for what happened here to Renee Nicole Good, so that it is not just the FBI or ostensibly the federal government investigating itself for if the federal government did any wrongdoing, but an outside party actually doing an investigation. The second piece of news was a release of video that was filmed by the agent Jonathan Ross, who shot and killed Renee Nicole Good. Release of cell phone video that agent was taking at the time, where after he shot and killed her, the first words he said were, I apologize for the language, but it was, quote unquote, fucking bitch. With that, I want to go into this crowd. I want to hear from some of the people in here tonight, in their own words, express how the Twin Cities are feeling, the message that they are hoping to deliver, and their reactions to the shocking events of the last 2 days. So, John, let's go ahead and make our way here into the crowd. And perhaps, John, you could start with just lifting up the camera, showing the people here how many hundreds of people are out here tonight. I'll note that there's, in terms of noise, a gong, people banging pots and lifting up their own voices, anything to create a noise right now outside of Canopy by Hilton. if I can get his attention. Got somebody. What's your name? Sierra. Okay. All right, I am standing here with Sierra. Sierra, can I have you just start by spelling that for us, please?
Sierra.
And I'll note that it is so loud. We're not even really in the crowd yet. We're just standing on the very edges of it. It's so loud that Sierra and I are screaming just to be able to hear each other and putting our ears down by each other's mouths. So hopefully you can hear us on the mic more clearly than we can hear each other. But Sierra, why did you want to be out here tonight?
I can't even put into words, to be honest. Morals, human ethics, everything that this administration has not stood for, and it has infuriated me. And it's to be frank, we're in Germany again, and I'm not going to let it happen again. And we're powerful in numbers, I guess, is probably. We're more powerful in numbers, so that would be, I can't even put everything into words because I'm so upset.
That power in numbers that you're talking about, are you feeling it here in this crowd?
Yeah, it makes me really proud to be from Minnesota, Minneapolis especially, because we come together. We don't take anything from anybody. I don't know, Minneapolis, I'm very proud to be from here, and everybody's here as a community. Everybody refers to it as a small town in a way, so it's good to see everybody come out.
Absolutely. What was the message that you came to deliver tonight? And maybe a good place to start with that would be just your sign. What does your sign say?
Ice out. And they're going to be doing a large protest tomorrow at 1, too. So I'm sure you all know about that. I just don't want to relive history again. I came out to every single protest for the past, since George Floyd out here, and I'm getting tired of it. And you got to come out for the people that can't make it and can't speak out for themselves. And it's heartbreaking. And
You're referencing, you don't want to, living through history. Can you talk about how George Floyd's death, the resulting protests, how does that inform what is happening in Minneapolis now, today?
I think that we're a target. I think Minnesota's a target in a way. We're so surrounded by unlike views, I guess, from other states, if that makes sense.
Don't be annoyed, it was a network problem. You'll be back shortly.
I think it's just out. I don't know how to. Sorry, I'm trying to think of it on the spot, but I think it's just we feel targeted. My community, once you hurt someone in our community, we all don't put up with it, and it's game over, kind of like.
Saying you feel targeted, your community feels targeted. Targeted for what? For the leaders that you've elected, targeted for the color of the skin of the people who are here? When you say targeted, what are you referring to there?
I think it just goes back. Everything can go back into history as systemic racism, how it's present in our communities, our schools, politics, policies, everything. It's present everywhere, and I just feel like the people here are, I don't know how to explain it, but they're just, I don't know. I feel like Minneapolis has always just been targeted. It gets bad, negative connotations, and it's just unfair. It's unfair to all the people that live here in Minnesota, everybody in the country.
President Trump, his administration have said that this deployment of ICE agents out here is meant to be about safety, about making communities safer. I'm not going to ask you if you feel safer when those same ICE agents are killing people, but what are some issues that, rather than spending billions of dollars on ICE, what are some programs that the federal government could instead put that money to that would directly benefit you or other people in your life? Like, what are the struggles that you're living with right now, that your friends and family are living with, that you'd like to see the federal government actually address?
Anything but this shit, honestly. That you can't afford groceries. A bag of groceries is $80. People can't find work. They don't get paid enough to work, and they are afraid to come to work for these reasons. They could put money towards women's health, women's research health, putting money into our schools around here, putting money into mental health facilities, therapy, anything but this shit, to be honest with you. Anything. It's horrible. I don't know. I have expressed so many times how upset I am, and I just can't put it in everything.
No, I think you're doing great. And I just want to emphasize there, talking about access to jobs, affordable groceries. This was a president who ran on fixing inflation, who ran on improving the economy, supposedly the businessman president, meant to put this country's economy back together again. And what we've heard, not only from Sierra, but from person after person that we have talked to out here and in other cities, is the continued economic suffering that so many are living through right now. Sierra, you came here to protest. I'm not going to hold you up any longer for doing that, other than to ask, is there anything else you would want to say while you had the platform?
We are in Nazi Germany. Everybody needs to wake the fuck up and get out and do what you can. Sitting at home isn't going to do anything, and I know it's scary to come out here. I know it's terrifying. It can be, you don't know what's going to be happening, but you can't just let it walk over you. This is our state. This is our country. And you just can't let them come through. They're going to keep steamrolling unless you stop them. So.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate the time. Thank you. I'll let you get back to it. It is loud out here. You heard Sierra make reference to there's going to be a protest tomorrow at 1 o'clock. It's a rally in March. We'll be broadcasting live from that demonstration as well. So if you want to be able to see, again, the action after action after action that the Twin Cities are putting on against the Trump administration right now in this moment as a way of pushing back against the continued ramp up of immigration enforcement efforts, of terrorizing their cities. Get subscribed so you get notified as soon as we go live with those reports so you can see what those demonstrations are like on the ground. And I should also say one more time, if you're able, statuscoup.com/join, $5 a month, all it takes to keep us here on the ground, covering event after event after event out here. All right, I'm going to go look for more people for us to interview. John, if you just want to survey the crowd again.
Double tap on your screen, double tap on your screen, double tap on your screen and share the live, double tap on your screen and share the live, double tap on your screen, share the live, share the live.
Very easy to take you up on that offer. Thank you. What's your name? Sorry? Casa. Got it. I'm JT. Nice to meet you. All right, I'm standing here with Casa. Sorry. What? Casa. Kata. Kata. Thank you. Okay, that's what I was screwing up. So I'm standing here with Kata. Thank you very much for correcting me. Kata, I want to start with just the noisemaker of choice you brought along here with you. What'd you bring and why?
Well, it's a bazooka air horn. I was at the store and they said that this is really loud, so that's why I got it. Yeah.
And you wanted to make this noise to send a message. What's that message that you are sending here tonight?
I mean that we don't want ICE in Minnesota, that we don't want it in Minneapolis and the Twin Cities, that we don't want organizations in the Twin Cities supporting ICE, housing ICE.
We've seen the Trump administration try to paint the picture that anyone who's resisting ICE right now or speaking out against the administration is somehow a rioter, is somehow enacting violence. I just got to address that right off the cuff. Do you see any rioters here tonight? Did you come with any intentions of being violent?
No, I think the vast majority of people here don't want it to be violent. We're peaceful protesters. Everything that I've been to has been peaceful. We're just trying to look out for our neighbors and take a stand. I mean, we're doing what we can. What else can we do?
When you saw the video of Renee Good being killed by an ICE agent, just your initial reaction, what were the feelings that came up inside you when you see someone from your community, someone who could be a neighbor, being harmed like that, being gunned down by the federal government with your tax dollars? What was going through your mind?
I mean, at first it was sort of numbness, I think. Probably a lot of people that way, where I don't think it really hit me till the day after. I mean, my first thought, which is sort of a selfish one, I guess, but was of like my friends that live in that neighborhood who live like blocks away from that, who have been active parts of ICE Watch teams out there. That could have been one of them.
We just today, the Trump administration, or not, I shouldn't say the Trump administration, but Alpha News released a new video actually taken by the agent who fired the shots. First of all, have you seen that video? Yes. At the very end, after Agent Jonathan Ross fires and kills Renee Good, his first words are, I apologize for the language, but they're fucking bitch. What's the message that you feel like is being sent there? What's the regard that you feel like ICE agents have for your community, your friends and neighbors?
I mean, it's not a hard question to answer, but it's like, that's not a way that you speak to anyone with respect, whether they've committed a crime or not, whether they're here illegally or not, whether they're a U.S. citizen or not. I mean, it seems pretty clear, using that language, that they've not been trained. They don't have a protocol. They're just sort of going rogue and doing whatever they want and saying whatever they want. Who are they held accountable to? I don't know.
Today we also heard that the state of Minnesota, from Attorney General Keith Ellison, that they are going to be launching their own investigation into the shooting, even though the FBI is going to withhold evidence from that local investigation. What's your hopes for what a truly independent investigation into the shooting, what it could achieve?
I don't know.
I guess a better question might be, like, what does justice to you look like? Well, what would you hope would be the outcome of a truly independent investigation?
Well, I would hope that that ICE officer would be arrested. Obviously, that he wouldn't be an ICE agent anymore. That, I don't know. I don't know what can exactly logistically come of an investigation like that, and out of like a positive outcome for the Twin Cities would obviously be that all ICE agents have to leave. I don't know if that's a realistic outcome of what would happen to this investigation or not, but I think that's what I would hope, and that's what everybody here would hope.
I think that's what probably a lot of people are feeling right now, or hoping for right now. When you look out at all of these people who have ostensibly come to say either the same thing or something very similar to the message that you came to deliver, what feelings are inside you to be surrounded by all these people standing up together and saying ICE out of Minnesota?
I mean, I think something that I've been feeling has just been the feeling of like, there is some hope, and like Minnesota, the Twin Cities, Minneapolis specifically knows how to organize. We have these community networks already. People want to participate. There's really a feeling this, I can help out in my neighborhood and I can help my neighbors.
You're out here with, what was it called again? A bazooka air horn. You've got a bazooka air horn that I'm going to assume cost you a few bucks and a whistle. That's what you have to fight back against a federal government that has functionally limitless resources, billions upon billions of dollars, to continue to put pressure on Minnesota if it wants. Really what you have is your own spirit, your own drive to continue resistance, continue standing up. How long do you feel like you can continue to mount a resistance with this volume against the Trump administration?
How long do I think Minneapolis as a whole? I mean, I think as long as ICE is here, it's going to continue happening. I don't see a situation where ICE is still here and people stop.
Absolutely. The last piece that I want to end here is kind of jumping off of that. With those limitless resources, we're hearing reporting today that ICE could deploy, or the federal government is going to deploy as many as 1,000 more agents on top of the 2,000 they were already sending over the next month. When you hear that in response to shooting and killing someone, that they are only going to ramp up the pressure, what's the message being sent to Minneapolis? What are you hearing from your federal government right now?
That they're scared, I guess. I mean, that they think the 2,000 agents that they sent already isn't enough. When I don't think they've sent 2,000 agents to any other cities in the U.S. Not to Chicago, certainly. I don't think to Portland, Oregon either. I mean, I think they notice the strength of our community and how much resistance they're seeing here. And I mean, they're calling for backup. They're scared, I think.
Katja, thank you very much for your time. Before I let you go, anything else you want to add while you have the platform? Thank you very much. I appreciate the time. Thank you. John, let's get out of the crowd for just a second. I want to just take a step back from the crowd for just a second. We can get him still in the background. Move around a little bit. I pulled John out of the crowd just now, just for my own sanity, for the safety of my own ears, because it is so loud in there. And like I said, we are standing only on the edge of this crowd, and you already hear the sound. I'm really hoping that you're hearing "fuck ICE." You're hearing "fuck ICE" from the people out here. One of many voices that you're hearing. And I'll say, these young faces that you're seeing out here, we've seen young faces like that at protest after protest, largely young faces, people of color, coming out saying that they are scared about the future that awaits them, the country that they are being left to inherit, and are terrified that either they, their parents, their friends, their loved ones are going to be next. But I want to acknowledge something that Katja just said in that interview just now, which is that she feels that the news that 1,000 more agents, what we're hearing reports that 1,000 more agents are going to be sent, is that she sees that as a sign of weakness from the Trump administration, that they are inherently scared. Now, note now the sound is dying down out here as some speakers are getting ready to speak. John, you want to try and get in there and let's hear from some of the speakers? Okay. Pardon me.
These ICE agents that are staying in these rooms are leaving unsecured guns, loaded weapons in the rooms. The housekeepers are having to go in and clean rooms around loaded weapons that they're leaving unsecured. Thank you. Workers are terrified. Workers are staying home. Workers are not able to provide for their families because they're so scared to leave their homes. Our workforce is struggling. Our workforce is struggling. Our community is struggling. This agenda of mass deportation will have a profound impact on all of us. We must continue to take action. We must continue to fight for our neighbors, our allies, our communities. They're being torn apart by a radical, hate-filled agenda. Immigrant and an allies issue. This is a core economic issue. Is this louder?
It wasn't all the way high.
This is not just an immigrant or ally issue. This is a core economic issue that impacts our workers. U.S.-born workers and foreign-born workers. This impacts all industries and all people. Abducting workers to keep airports, hotels, and restaurants open will make it hard for the businesses in our community to stay open and survive. Across the country, 17% of the workforce are foreign-born. In Minnesota, 11% of the workforce are foreign-born. That is 1 in 9 workers. These workers are pivotal parts of our communities. This state and this country cannot run without our immigrant communities. This campaign of mass terror is hurting us all. We must stand up. We must stand together. We must stand and fight for our neighbors. We must fight for those who cannot fight for themselves at this moment. We must not stand by while ICE is murdering people in our streets. What do we do when we're under attack? What do we do when we're under attack? What do we do when we are under attack? Stand up, fight back! 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 Stand up, fight back!
Showing you this crowd right now. You have a better perspective on it than I do because John's able to lift that camera up over the crowd. Of this crowd right now, it is hundreds, if not thousands, outside of the canopy by Hilton to make their voices heard. Call for an end to murder of their neighbors.
Tonight, we are out here to cause problems for the hotels that are collaborating with ICE. And I'll say it again, I'll say it. When we do this, it works. We get these agents out of these hotels. Something else that is important to say tonight. We are out here in an act of mass non-cooperation. And mass non-cooperation works. When we engage in mass non-cooperation, we show how powerful we are. Look around! Look around! This is our power! Look around! Make eye contact! Make eye contact with someone in the crowd right now! Look around! Make eye contact with a stranger! These are your neighbors! These are your comrades, and these are the people. Why? This is why we're powerful! This is why we're powerful! Peaceful, we're going to be non-violent, and we're going to cause a fucking problem! And we're going to do, what do we want? Now! When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it?
I want to take this moment to call out the fact that the cameras you're seeing here, through our camera, are largely independent journalists or just people here in the crowd. There were a lot of national outlets, a lot of corporate media that parachuted in here the day that Renee Good was killed. We've been on the ground here for weeks, since the beginning of December, to tell the story of what is happening here in the Twin Cities. This important on-the-ground journalism, lifting up the voices of these people, this loud majority of people who are out here to express their anger at the Trump administration for killing, victimizing their neighbors, is not something that you will see on corporate media, or if you will, it'll be a 12-second soundbite. We're going to be live out here for hours. The importance of supporting independent media in this time is absolute. It's the only way that we can get a truly independent voice, a people-centered voice in what is happening. I can't thank enough, we can't thank enough here at Status Quo, the work of the Midas Touch Network and lifting up not only our outlet, but also the voices of all of these people that you see around here tonight. Corporate news for a while. I worked as a corporate local journalist. And I can tell you right now what the coverage of this event will look like on the evening news tonight. It'll be 45 seconds. It'll be an anchor just reading over that there were some people who made noise outside of a Hilton. It'll feature one soundbite from somebody in this crowd, and it'll feature one soundbite from someone who says that they didn't like the noise, or it'll feature a quick blurb, some of the Trump administration's propaganda to make it, quote-unquote, both sides. As if these hundreds and thousands of voices are in any way equal to just what one person in the White House has to say. As if to suggest that that this, what is happening here, is a 50-50 position. I hope it comes across through the camera. The power of this collective group of voices are expressing right now the energy that is in the air. And not only do we try and center the voices of people and people-powered movements here at Status Quo, we don't take corporate funding. None. We are sustained thanks to individual donations. It's individual people giving us a few dollars here, a few dollars there, $5 a month to sustain the efforts that our small but mighty team is able to do here at Status Quo. And I would put our journalism up against any other outlet with what we're able to do with that people-built power. So, because we are only beholden to you, our audience, you know that these voices that we're showcasing here tonight, what I'm saying on this microphone has nothing to do with what any advertiser wants me to say or deems acceptable. You see here a march now forming of these protesters, led by that pickup truck. Led by that pickup truck where we saw those speakers speaking off of the back of just a few moments ago. And we're now moving with this crowd as they take to the streets in downtown Minneapolis. We're moving up here to the front of this group so you can look back and again see the totality of this movement as they chant, "Fuck ICE."
Double tap on your screen, double tap on your screen, like the live, and share.
You're fully good. Nobody behind you. I'm just taking a moment here to ensure my cameraman is safe since he has to do everything I'm doing, except he's also monitoring a camera and walking backwards while doing it. I'm a reporter. Would you mind if I ask you about here to deliver tonight? Yeah. All right. What's your name? What can I call you? L. All right. I'm standing here with L. L, I wanted to ask you about the message you came here to deliver tonight. The Trump administration has tried to frame these movements as the movement of rioters, inherently violent. I mean, I think we can just look around. We don't see any violence happening here tonight. Set the record straight. What's the message you came to deliver?
The message I came here to deliver is that we have a right to exercise our right to protest when we see injustice happening somewhere. If we know that injustice is happening somewhere, nobody is safe, and it's very important for us to make sure that we understand that if it's us now, it could be you tomorrow. So make sure to know that.
We're seeing fireworks going off behind us here as this crowd continues to march. So that's your message.
My message is, if this is happening to us today, this could happen to anybody tomorrow. When you want to stand up for something, you get labeled as all of these horrible, horrific things. It's our right to say these things. It's our right to protest. It's our right to stand up to injustice.
Right to stand up to injustice. Let's talk about justice. What would justice look like for the Twin Cities? I don't think this community can ever be made completely whole after one of its members was killed by the federal government. But what steps would you like to see taken to try and see some accountability, some justice be carried out here for the Twin Cities?
Renee's killer needs to be locked up. We need ICE to get out of Minnesota, and we need the entire government to realize that these horrors that are happening is completely unacceptable. Everybody who is taking part and standing by while this is happening needs to be held accountable. They need to be held accountable by any means necessary. They need to be held accountable. They need to go to jail. If they need to be locked up, put on trial. What we're seeing right now is a repeat of history. It's unacceptable.
A repeat of history. So looking to history as a guide, Where do you see this country going right now? And is there a way to avoid that future?
We can avoid it. Where I see the West going right now is I feel like we are going in a very dark direction. Like back in the day when many wars were happening, when people were being persecuted just for who they are. The community, not right or left, not conservative, liberal, but as one America to understand that this is wrong and that we can reach peace through collective understanding that what's happening is just not okay.
So, Al, the Trump administration just announced that it's going to send 1,000 more agents on top of the 2,000 it's already sending here to the Twin Cities area. What's the message that you feel like the Trump administration is sending to you and your neighbors here by sending those more agents?
He wants us to be afraid, but Minnesota is not afraid. We care about our neighbors. So, if he wants to send his officers, it's only going to escalate. Minneapolis is a small city in comparison to cities like Chicago or New York. 3,000? That's an agitation move. He wants to agitate us. He wants us to burn the city down. We're not going to do that. We're not doing that.
We've talked a lot about the Trump administration so far. Republican administration, Republicans control all branches of government right now. Do you feel like the opposition party, the Democrats, are doing enough to fight back in this moment?
No, I think they could be doing more. Tweets, thoughts, and prayers, that's not going to help. This is not helping us. We need actual, real, actionable change. We need people to do something. No more words. No more words. We need action. We need real change, real action.
Action. Would you be willing to support a general strike if it came to that?
If we need a general strike, absolutely I would support it because we are, again, one America. Everybody needs to stand with each other. Again, right or left, it doesn't matter. We need to be unified as a country to understand that what's wrong is wrong. You can't have somebody tell you that what you saw with your own eyes as a video was incorrect. That is cognitive dissonance. You are believing in something while your heart is telling you one thing, and your eyes see something, and somebody's telling you something another. Absolutely not. I have to get back to my friend. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for your time. Another voice that you're hearing here in the crowd, another one acknowledging that Trump administration wants to make the Twin Cities feel scared, and that's the reason for this additional deployment of agents now coming to this city that they are threatening. Some 1,000 people, 1,000 agents on top of the 2,000 that had already been slated to be deployed here over the next 2 months, on top of the already existing Operation Metro Surge that ICE was already underway at carrying out here in the Twin Cities area and has been carrying out since the beginning of December. We've been covering that operation over the last many weeks. Since it began, we've been on the ground here in the Twin Cities. We brought you the story of a pregnant woman who was dragged. We brought you the scene where John nearly gave himself frostbite, covering 2 construction workers who were being literally frozen to death by ICE as they attempted to take refuge at a construction site from immigration agents who were there to try and arrest them, take them away as part of a broader profiling effort that the Trump administration is doing here. We brought you story after story on the ground here. So when you look and you see this crowd, this did not start tonight. This story did not start 2 days ago with the murder of Renee Good. This story stretches back weeks, it stretches back years of systemic harm that has been visited on the Twin Cities, on communities, on this entire country, because leaders won't put people first. Instead, what they do is they fund at record levels law enforcement to carry out a deportation agenda, a harm agenda, and seek to divide the American people. Because that fractures a power base that you can see how strong it is when a true group of people come together. There are not police officers who are blocking the traffic out in front of us, John, if you just want to flip the camera around for just a moment. It's not like police are clearing the streets for these people to march right now. This is a people movement out here. These are volunteers in those yellow vests who are out here blocking traffic, ensuring that it is safe for this crowd to move. This is people who are taking back the streets of their city one block at a time. At the scene of the shooting at 34th and Portland on Minneapolis' south side, we saw the establishment for a time of an autonomous grieving zone. John's just wiping down our camera lens here. And this is an extension of that, of people taking back their city.
Justice for! Justice for!
And in order to show people what is actually happening here on the ground in Minneapolis, to show the popular movement that is building here in this city and across the country right now. And I can say across the country because we've been reporting from city after city across this country, from D.C., New York, North Carolina, and Twin Cities. This popular movement that is building against the Trump administration and its immigration agenda and its lack of focus on issues that actually impact people's lives. A lack of focus on the economy and a massive distraction effort that is underway right now from many of the scandals that the Trump administration is currently dealing with, like the Epstein files, like the state of the economy.
This is what we'll
Lifting up these voices and telling these stories is important to us. If it's important to you, help lift this up. Share, like the stream. It does a lot. It does a lot because these social media companies do not value on-the-ground shoe leather journalism like what we're doing here. We need to be able to send the message to the algorithm that this is something that people need to see and should be seeing to get a real sense of how popular these movements are. And if you can take the extra step to support what we're doing here, that extra step would be going to statusquo.com/join. For $5 a month, you help sustain what John and I are doing here on the ground and our whole team at Status Quo is doing to cover rising fascism and authoritarianism here in the United States. That $5 a month goes to sustain our on-the-ground reporting efforts. It goes to pay for the places where we need to sleep at the end of the night after we finished marching with these folks, covering these movements for hours. We were outside of the federal building where ICE agents have many of their operations here in the Twin Cities area. We were live out there for hours earlier today. We were out there for hours today showing how the Trump administration was willy-nilly using force against the people of the Twin Cities area. So at the drop of a hat, tear gassing that crowd, shooting pepper balls into them, throwing out flashbang grenades. These were all things that happened today in this city. Supposedly the Trump administration is trying to make this city safe by tearing families apart, by using tear gas, by using flashbang grenades, and by shooting and killing one of the residents of this city. And you can see the message that these people are here to deliver in response to the Trump administration. But if that reporting is valuable to you, please, statusquo.com/join. It helps keep John and I here on the ground telling these important stories that we feel so passionately about covering. John, I'm going to go and grab another person to interview, okay?
Power to the people!